everybody, welcome to Sketches. I'm your host Christopher Epling. We thank you so much for tuning in. We have a very special program for you today. We're going to be looking at an interesting technique dealing with airbrushing. Now, airbrush tools and airbrush supplies are very expensive. They're completely just not economical for young artists, especially whenever you're trying to produce something and you're looking for supplies to buy and you're on a budget. It's hard to really pull things together to make it happen, but I have found something very interesting and very cool that I want to share with you today. Not promoting any type of brand or any type of materials that you can use, but this is something that's really cool. So what we have here are Copic markers, which a lot of folks know. These Copic markers are alcohol-based, ink type based markers. They're really popular with students. They come in a variety of these hues, so you can get all colors of the rainbow. And students love to use these because they have a very smooth application. On the other side, we have an applicator that is actually condensed air in a can that we've connected up to this device, which kind of looks a little bit like maybe a compressed air tank with a device on the end that is all about airbrushing. So this is the airbrush mechanism itself, connected to this can of air. Now you can purchase these small cans of air and replace the valve with it, and you can go as long as you want and as easy as you want, as long as you have Copic markers. Now how this works is you take a Copic marker, okay, I'm just going to grab red, you pull the top off. You want the tip to be the tip that's actually the pointed tip. These are inserted into the side of this little device here. You want to push it in until it clicks. Now the cool thing is you adjust your flow of air, and what happens is you turn a Copic marker into an airbrush system, which is absolutely just the coolest thing in the world. So I've just drawn this little cartoon character out to kind of give you an idea of how this works. So there's a little tiny trigger at the top of this. So when you go in, you can actually start to put some color into your drawing. Now you can change the flow of air to actually get more of a wider type of flow. I'm using a pretty thin flow right now to show you that it's pretty good control with it. Now, does this work perfectly? No, but for an economical airbrush effect, this is absolutely amazing. So we'll put some red on, and maybe we get some blue in here too. It flows pretty good. This is something that I think is probably going to help a lot of students who are interested in learning how to do airbrushing. Now, I do not know how to airbrush, so I'm warning everybody right now that this is like my second time probably using this thing, so it's not going to turn out wonderful, but you can kind of get the idea of how it works. Now, learning how to properly administer this is a little challenging, and but you get the hang of it. You can use any color you want with it, and you can go in and just become an airbrush a maniac. You can go in and add all sorts of hues and different colors. This is a very light skin tone. I think that this is something that could really help a lot of students who are interested in airbrushing. And of course, the tools that you have and the materials are really expensive. Like I said though, learning how to control this is challenging to say the least. But if you are looking for something that is affordable and something that is available as an option, then it's here as an option. I'm going to give him some yellow hair. I don't know why really, but I just want to. So you get the idea of how it works. Everyone knows that airbrushing is something that is expensive. It's hard to get all the devices that you need and all the materials that you need in order to do it. But I love it. I think it's wonderful. Before we cut off, I'm going to use a little bit of brown on this bear here and see what happens. I think it's really fun to use. I'm still getting the hang of it though. Using this is a little challenging because the flow of air is controlled by this little nozzle here. And if you release too much of the air out, what happens is you get this really broad spray. But if you tighten the air control down all the way to the end, you get this nice tight flow. So I'm going to put a little brown on our bear. And you can imagine after doing layer upon layer upon layer of this, eventually it's going to look really good. It's going to be blended out really nice. And I just think it's a really, really cool option. So anybody out there who's looking into doing some airbrushing, and let's say you've looked into all the supplies and they're really expensive, I really highly recommend looking into getting the Copic system because it just works so nicely. Now, am I a master at it? No, as you can see. But, you know, hey, we're learning and we're trying as we go. If you're interested in maybe submitting something, if you get something, a few materials together, and let's say you've created a drawing or a piece of art using this, you'd love to show it with us, we'd like to share it with you. And in the world here on Pike TV. So just send it to us at eplingillustrations@gmail.com and let's see what you created. I'm a little still nervous about going too much on this, but as you can see though, it's a pretty cool option for those who are looking to do some airbrushing and let's say you don't have money to buy all the equipment. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today on Sketches. We really appreciate you. And like I said, be sure and send us your work. We'd love to share it on our regular show, which is the Art Workshop with Christopher Epling. So if you have work, please send that in. We love to show it with our viewing audience, what you've created and what you've done. So thanks for checking out our Sketches episode. Until next time, I'm Christopher Epling, and keep drawing.